So we're going to be working on replacing the water pump on the Expedition today. So the first thing we need to do is remove this cover here for the radiator. And I just wanted to point out there's 8 of these clips. They have a screw in the middle. It's all plastic. And if you would just try and pry up on this, pull it out, you would break it. See, this one it's missing the plastic that holds it in. So just on a lot of these, just turning the screw doesn't work. So I found that putting a flat screwdriver under it, putting some pressure on it while you turn the screw helps you to remove that screw. And then once it's loose, then you can just pop this guy right out. Save you from breaking them.
Take that cover out. Yep, good deal.
And the next thing we're going to go after is the fan shroud. I'll show you that next. Alright, so we're working on getting the fan shroud off. There's 2 8mm bolts. One's underneath the upper radiator hose. I've already loosened them up, so I'm just going to remove this one. And then there's one over here. On the opposite side. And then this shroud is just slid into, you can't really see it, down there below the upper radiator hose. There's like slots on either side of this that it slides into, so it should just slide straight out. Oh yeah, never mind. You have to get the fan off first.
Alright, we'll come back for that.
Alright.
So to get the fan off of the fan clutch down here, you need this tool, which you can rent at your parts store, and that goes inside over those 4 bolts. You'll see when he puts it in, and it just holds on those 4 bolts so that you can then take a wrench. And we used an adjustable because the kit, of course, didn't include the right size for this bolt, and just put the wrench on there, and then you can turn it. I mean, we had to use a pipe. You can see the pipe here. We put the pipe on the end of here and held it, and with the breaker bar, and then because it's on there pretty good, but then you can loosen that up, and that's how the fan comes off.
And it
turns normally. It's not reverse threaded. Yeah, that's a good point.
So now we can slide this shroud out, I think. Not sure what's holding it up. We'll figure out what's holding it up.
So it just took a second to get that fan we pulled the fan out from behind the fan shroud, and then we were able to manipulate the fan shroud to bring it out. And so then we're on to the next step. All right, so with the belt still on, you want to loosen up those 10 millimeter bolts on the pulley, and we're just using some air to get some impact there and zip them out. And then those are out of there, and then we'll take off the Serpentine Belt. And to do that, we'll put a breaker bar in the little key right there on the tensioner, and then just pull the tension down and you can get the belt right off. And I'm going to untangle it and everything. And the belt comes right out of there. So then the pulley, you just wiggle the pulley off. I can show you that here in a second, right there. It just kind of like, you don't have to kill yourself getting it off. It just kind of presses on there. And then to get it off, you just wiggle it out, and then the pulley comes off, and there's your water pump. Alright, so we put a pan underneath to catch the coolant, and then we're going to loosen up the bolts. How many bolts are there on there?
4.
There's 4 bolts on the pump.
1, 2, 3, and then there's one underneath here.
Yep. I don't know if I can see that or not. Yeah, I can. So we'll go at it from there. Yeah, there it is. And then the pump is probably going to be on there pretty tight, so we'll have to like walk it off, tapping it with a hammer. And we'll let that drain out. And there it is. Pretty tight.
I don't know how tight it's supposed to be, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Yep. We'll see. Go ahead.
Alright, so I just wiped this down
It wasn't really that dirty. There was some more debris laying in here, so it just cleaned it up nicely with a rag on the inside too, the surface where the O-ring is going to ride. And now we're ready to install it. I'm going to put some clean antifreeze on this O-ring to make it easier to install.
Go ahead.
Alright, so I just put the first one in to kind of hold it in place, because you really can't, it's the action of tightening these bolts down that's going to draw it in. So I'm just going to put the rest of the bolts in place, and then we're going to torque it. The torque spec is between 15 and 22, so we're going to do 18 and a half, which is right down the middle.
So when you're snugging them down, you can just do a cross pattern to walk it into place so that it pulls it in evenly. And then once you get them snug down, you can torque them. The engine will do the rest. So once you got the pulley back on, then you want to put the belt back on so that you have some tension, so that you can torque those down, because you torque those bolts down to the same 18 to 22 foot-pounds. So having the belt on will help you do that. And then you just put everything back together and give it a test, and you should be done.